Hey guys, it is Jason DeLong with Heartland Homes KC coming at you this Friday, talking with Drew again, and hope you guys are off to a good start. What's up, Drew?
Hey there, Jason. How we doing on this beautiful day?
Good, man.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad you had the time to let me hop on and ask you some more questions. Some big news down there in Kansas City today, or I should say this week, with the Patrick Mahomes contract coming down. $503 million, definitely an impressive number.
Yeah.
But more so, I wanted to kind of chat with you about one, kind of what the real estate market's looking like right now, and kind of some things coming down the road that potentially could happen based on this superstar talent being right here in our backyard. So with that being said, what are we seeing as far as the real estate market right now?
The real estate market right now is still very, very hot. You're starting to see it open up a little bit. More sellers putting their homes on the market, feeling more comfortable to put their homes on the market. There is a little bit has been a little backlash with the face mask, mandatory face mask in Kansas City and Kansas. But I don't know that has really deterred a whole lot of people. Inventory is still low, so I mean prices are still staying, about where they were at. We're seeing, anything under like I'd say 300,000, you're getting usually multiple offers. And so Clay and Platte County, up in the Northland, we're seeing under 15 days on market, and that's just for some of the higher end properties that are thrown in there that tend to have a little bit of more marketing time. So those average out to less than 2 weeks days on market. So that's very, very active.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, put your home up and have it sold in 2 weeks or less. So on average, I'll take that any day of the week. So, as far as inventory is concerned, you say it's low. About approximately how many months of inventory is the Kansas City area looking at right now?
Yeah, it depends on which area, but I mean most of them are under 2 months of inventory, and that's probably a stretch. You were actually probably looking at 6 weeks of inventory, which is very scary. I mean, nobody likes that, buyers or sellers, because it kind of puts you, you got to go somewhere. So you got to pretty much dictate where you're going first before you even put your house on the market. So it can be very stressful.
Oh yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, definitely not having 6 weeks of inventory is more than a inventory shortage, so to speak. So,
yeah.
So like you mentioned, multiple offer situations have become pretty much a regular thing that you're seeing in almost probably every transaction about roughly right about now, with inventory being so low. So any sort of just quick little tips you could add for any buyers or sellers out there of how to handle it, or how to kind of win a multiple offer situation?
Sure. And really it comes down to, I think it always helps to be the first one in. So, day one on the market, most buyers are getting those alerts if it's in their price range in their areas that they're looking. So, I'd say more than half the time, the agents are getting a text from the buyers like, hey, can I look at this? And you're one of 50 that are going to go look at it. But I think, being quickest to the table with an offer definitely helps. Having the agent having the conversation with the listing agent, hey, I'm going to send an offer to my buyer, kind of, maybe look what is most important to the seller, whether they need more time to close so they can find something. But trying to make it easiest on the seller with that offer, whatever the terms may be. It's not always price either. That's, making the strongest offer. So FHA is a tough one right now, unless every other offer is FHA, just because those appraisals are the most stringent. But if you can go conventional, great. The more down payment, I think, or earnest deposit that you put down with the contract kind of strengthens your offer a little bit. The less items you're asking for, whether it's closing costs or, just kind of make the cleanest offer that you can, I think definitely helps your case. So those are kind of a few tidbits I would leverage our buyers with.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much for the little insider knowledge there, Jason. So now let's get into the meat of our Facebook Live questions today. So obviously, Patrick Mahomes, again, signed his massive record-breaking deal. He's the face of the NFL, and I like to personally make the comparison to like when Michael Jordan was in Chicago, of how the city of Chicago kind of blew up. So I have a feeling that could happen to our beloved Kansas City in chunks over the next 10 to 12 years that we have him under contract, and seeing what he does. But with that being said, any potential correlations to real estate you may foresee with that? Or anything kind of in the Kansas City community that you're also aware about? I know with the airport expansion as well. Kind of just what are your thoughts on what could potentially be in the making with us having such a unique and talented athlete in our city of Kansas City?
Yeah, it's exciting. And you and I talked a little bit offline on this, but no, man, you're right. The next 10 to 12 years, I think it's a period in time where people are going to look back and be like, wow, man, I can't believe that. He's a very talented athlete and obviously the highest paid at this point with the new contract and the face of the NFL. So, Kansas City's got so many opportunities right now with the airport expansion and so many companies moving in just because we're smack dab in the middle of the United States. So it makes logistics a whole lot easier for a lot of these companies and travel, especially now that some companies may not be flying as much. It's an easy drive, no matter which way you're going. So those that are already kind of in place, along with the Michael Jordan effect with Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the sky's the limit. I think you're going to start seeing, people kind of gravitate this way even more so. And even companies as well. I mean, just to kind of, the Kansas City Chiefs get so much sponsorship, other companies are going to want to jump in on that sponsorship and who knows, you might see headquarters start moving here even more than they already are. So I think it's going to be exciting to look back and see what does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree completely. But also one other thing I want to touch on is, outside of kind of the Mahomes stuff, but have you kind of noticed an uptick in outside buyers already starting to move into Kansas City a little bit just because of COVID, with Kansas City being smack dab in the middle, as you mentioned, typically known as a little bit more of a rural area, right? People probably trying to get away from those high density population areas such as New York, places of that nature, where you're seeing outside buyers already start to kind of move in more frequently to Kansas City.
Right. I personally haven't really seen that movement yet, but I could see it happening. Just with the whole pandemic, you're right. And, everyone I've talked to with this pandemic, it's made them kind of take a step back and whether they're forced to or not, kind of look at either simplifying their life or, making a move. I've got a buddy who's, kind of moving back to his small town. It is for a job opportunity, but, at the same time, it's like, kind of simplify things a little bit and, get out of the hustle and bustle or the density. So I could see, Kansas City is a great, place. I mean, you got so many 4 to 6 hour drives. You can make a little day trip or long weekends of. So yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Absolutely. I would agree with your statement there as well. So other than that, Jason, that really kind of wraps it up for me today as far as our questions. I appreciate your time as always. And again, appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.